Let's just talk. So let's talk about whether any of you want to participate in this and be involved in this project or not. Well, I don't know. Just give a thumbs up. Thank you, Mikhail. Great. Thank you. Well, I don't know what else I should add then. I'm just ready for any questions, guys. Well, that's it. You all threw your thumbs at me. Great, thank you. I'm ready for any questions, ready to discuss them publicly or in a private conversation if that's more comfortable for someone. So let's not lose touch, but instead keep acting even more actively. I'll say it again, anyone can be, we're all the same. I just bought myself some time to formulate this, to give it shape, in other words, we're creating a framework for other brilliant inventors. And this is on a large scale, it's feasible, and it's been done for many years already. Now is the perfect time to support us and do this together. Support us with what? You could say that, in a way, we also support those who come to us. That's just a fact.
Alexander Popov wrote a question in the chat. Oh,
Alexander Popov asked a question, and Oksana has a question. When do we start? And you are the one starting. Hi.
listen, yeah, I just wanted to ask. I really liked the presentation too. But the next step is, very interesting. It's that moment when everything goes public and right away there will be a lot more feedback and maybe some criticism and everything else. Well, then you'll hear all sorts of things. There will be plenty of that.
I'm ready. I know what to listen to. I will.
Yes, and writing and everything else, all of that will be there. I just wanted to know what will you start with? So you're saying that we'll start out for the whole world, all of that. So will these be podcasts? I don't know. Will you be bringing someone in or like, let's test out some devices, for example, or how is it all going to look?
Well, right now we're starting marketing, yes, and I think Andre will tell you a bit himself, our marketing director, yes. So I'll talk about the business side. Well, regarding the business, our current goal is to fully set up our legal structure within 4 months. It has to be done right from the start. We can't just make some kind of micro business there, and then try to develop it later. No, we need to do it right from the beginning, right from the very start. And according to our business plan, that's going to take us 4 months. So within 4 months, we'll have our company fully set up, we'll have our intellectual property evaluated, and we'll transfer all of that to the company, meaning we'll have a properly valued company. During this same period, we'll also finish our landing page, present ELNET in a more impressive way from a technical perspective, and create our marketing materials. And as I understand it, we'll be spending all 4 months communicating with various people, attracting new like-minded supporters. That's it. The actual development will begin after these 4 months in April, and from that point, it will take a total of 4 months. So it turns out that in the first 4 months, I also need to assemble and fully staff the entire team I need for this. For example, as Andre told us, he said something like, I'm ready to put in 300 hours to work there or however many hours. But the point is, to implement the project, we need a more organized approach. That means constantly, every day, achieving results with clear deadlines. It's really that kind of commitment. It's like we're building something, but we need to make sure everything happens on time. And I know people like that. They're capable of that kind of approach, but we need to pay them and find them. And that's exactly what we're working on right now. As a result, in just 8 months from today, we'll have a finished firmware. We'll send the firmware for testing. No, I mean, we'll set up this airdrop test. No, it's like public testing, and by then we'll already have a sufficient marketing budget to make it happen, because the main testing will last another 2 months. So from today, that's from month 8 to month 10. So this testing will be ongoing, and the goal is that after these 2 months, we can release our server in an unboxing, and in 10 months to already have it and be able to set it up at home, and by the 11th month for everyone to have it, to give these 1024 founding members the server and create our initial network of 1024 nodes. By the way, this is another important point that I haven't mentioned yet, and it's also related to security. We need to explain everything we're doing. And the creation of a network of 1024 devices has a legal basis in the fact that we are conducting a scientific experiment. Is privacy really the same as a cybercrime or just crime in general? Is it really as dangerous for society as people say? And in general, maybe it's actually a good thing. Maybe it gives people certain advantages. Then as long as we stay within the circle of 1024, we can absolutely, legally create something like this, roughly speaking, right now, yes. And then after the 11th month, the development of the network will go beyond that, yes. That is when we've thought through all the details, when we already have a legal entity, an evaluation, and 1024 founding members, and the necessary amount has been collected. So you could say that after reaching 1024, our next leap will be to 10,000. We'll focus on the cybersecurity market, and after 10,000 network devices, we'll move on to the startup market, crypto, and so on, up to 100,000. After that, there will be a mass of additional features that will lead us to those 100,000 devices, that is, within the first year. we will achieve a fully ready MVP and all the necessary resources for scaling. In another 6 months, we will start selling our digital capacities. So that's the business plan. And if we talk about marketing, about how we will broadcast this and attract new participants, you're right about that, Sasha. That's something I had to take a long time to decide on. I don't want to be public, honestly. I don't want to perform all the time, having to listen to all of that and so on, because none of it has anything to do with actually getting things done. Basically, you're always listening to why someone isn't doing it themselves. From everyone who isn't doing it, you hear their reason for not doing it, even though it's actually possible to do and you can really make money from it. But you always have to listen to the reasons why they don't want to do it and what barriers this person puts in their own way. Like, I won't do it, I'm not interested. And then they put up a whole bunch of barriers. So you have to dig into these barriers. And in some cases, maybe you don't even need to dig into them. Well, that's already. Andre, take over and tell us about marketing. What's our more concrete plan?
Well, first of all, it's worth noting that a marketing plan implies a budget. And to implement this marketing plan, investments are necessary for all of this. So there's a fairly detailed plan outlining what these investments are needed for and where they should go. A rather meticulous business plan has also been created. Within this business plan, which also includes figures, there is a marketing plan, also with quite interesting numbers, that covers the people we need, the necessary outsourcing, and essentially the principles of both external and internal interaction. It envisions significant involvement from the DAO community in all matters, with the ultimate goal of transitioning to full management by the DAO community. But to avoid telling everyone a long and boring story, to put it briefly, the main highlights are: the key point in marketing is to communicate openly and honestly about what is happening and what we are doing. In fact, we are creating a community of like-minded people who are moving in the same direction and doing the things they need for themselves, which Dima has already mentioned. And accordingly, all of this will be delivered through a huge amount of video content that will be produced. So it's not just podcasts, there will be live broadcasts and streams as well. And the main point is that a roadshow is planned with about 10 countries and 10 markets selected, those that are most adapted to the crypto world, so to speak, the most favorable ones. These are places where we can hold presentations, gather the community, and bring together like-minded people because, again, there are 3 stages outlined for how all of this will unfold. The first stage is the foundation, where our main goal is to reach 1,024 global like-minded individuals around the world. This is the core group of the project that will drive it forward in the initial stages. And as of today, we have, you could say, over 100 DAO members, and we need to reach the number 1,024. We need to get there. And for this, there is a whole comprehensive program in place with a roadshow, presentations, podcasts, and communication, all aimed at fulfilling the function of educating people. What is this? Why is it needed? What are the benefits? What are we doing? And what are the prospects? I think that's enough for today, just a brief overview.
Well, yes, I'll add a little bit. I mean, I see it more simply. Honestly, I've been ready for a long time to start posting on our social media, maybe some videos, but it needed to be a well thought out action, so it wouldn't be boring. It shouldn't be, and it should all be to the point with some meaningful news, not just, we're still working on the business plan every day. No, well.
And any interaction with social media, that's also something to consider. You need things like driving traffic, campaigns, and so on, which also require certain resources, as they say. So when taking separate actions, you need this financial and economic support for them to be effective. That's why everything should be done wisely. Yes.
So we will primarily focus on building marketing in order to find like-minded people. Well, it's always been like that. I mean, we already have investors who have invested. They invested even without a concrete plan. Now we have a concrete plan and we will share it. We will invite people to podcasts. We will talk about philosophy, psychology, science, about the structure of the world. And overall, everywhere, the question will be not just about necessity, but whether it's actually useful or not. In all of this, that is for some people, it will resonate, and we need to find these people and communicate with them. Now calmly attract them. We have the opportunity to make a contribution from 600 euros or dollars up to $50,000. Well, I actually expect to find those who are ready to invest $50,000 even faster. And I think we'll resolve this issue quickly, and we'll be sharing all these successes. Well, first and foremost, like we've attracted this kind of person and that kind of person. So everything will happen organically from there. It's not like we need to do a lot of planning or anything like that. We
are all completely and truly set now.
Sasha, is that all? Did we answer your question?
All right, that's it. I unmuted myself. But yeah, you answered it. Thank you. Good luck with your new beginnings, with these new stages starting. I'm glad that it's finally behind us. Yes, that Rubicon. Now there will be a new stage and then the next Rubicon, as they say. So, of course, I would like there to be some kind of speaker in English. Well, I think you know yourselves how everything will be organized there.
Yes, we have a candidate, a PhD candidate, a candidate for the English-speaking speaker. I think he won't be the only one. Also, I need to brush up on my English too. So we'll be talking to everyone. All right, I see I have one more question. As I understand it, the development of this part will happen in a few months, or do you already have something in the works? Yes, we have some groundwork. Well, it's me and Tioma. Dima, has the development already been going on for 5 years? Well, that's the answer. Our primary objective isn't merely to push forward our individual ideas or personal viewpoints, but rather to thoroughly demonstrate and validate some of our innovative and carefully crafted solutions to a wider community of fellow developers and technical professionals with whom we are on the verge of engaging in a collaborative discussion. Gather into a team. We want a collective decision, a consensus on what exactly this firmware should be, and which specific technologies should ensure its full operation. That's why we first need to assemble a team, and then return to the firmware, because with our current team, it's not enough. There are many different related tasks. We can make a prototype, so to speak, but to create a finished product that any grandma could install and have everything work for her, that's another matter. A lot of expertise is required for that, so we'll bring all this together and create non-affiliated conditions. That's exactly the reason why we're raising money in this particular way. That is, it's so that, well, the guys who are working on this stack doesn't have a third-party interest, for example, the interest of a specific investor who could influence the course of development. Because when people can simply and calmly receive funding and work on specific tasks each month, that's when we can achieve the objectivity we need to truly choose the best solution and implement it in our firmware. At the same time, it's important to note that according to our plan, we will be continuously building up this expertise. That is our first product, which will be released in, it turns out, 10 months from today. This is just the first generation. We're also putting a lot of emphasis on the second, third, and fourth generations. It's impossible to implement all the ideas we could realize so quickly, but you have to start somewhere. And we'll release the first generation and immediately start working on the second. And the first generation will attract a whole lot of criticism. All the smartest people in the world will be hating on us. But in doing so, they'll make us stronger, and through their feedback, show us what things we need to consider for the second generation and what we don't. And in this way, it still turns into an advantage for our technological superiority. So, Vadim, we do have some groundwork, but everything is still open. In other words, there's no need to get attached to it. Honestly, one person could probably put together such firmware in about a month, give or take, but that's not enough for us. We need justification to dig deeper into everything, to understand how it all works, and to justify everything to ourselves, first and foremost, so that people trust us. That's why we'll continue taking into account everything that's been done. Everything is open. That's the main thing. That's how it is. Basically, we have 11 more minutes scheduled. We can answer 2 or 3 more questions for sure, if there are any. Or if the crew has no questions, we don't have to drag this out and can just go and think over this proposal. That was the proposal, including that. Let's not drag this out. It's basically a yes or no situation. Ideally, in the first month, right in December, we should close the total amount of 250,000 euros. This is for 4 months of work until the full launch of the legal entity with the appraised intellectual property. Reaching this milestone will allow us to attract another $2 million to launch our MVP and gather 1,024 participants. We'll be able to visit the farm from the show and find the right people. I'll send the information again to everyone who attended, meaning I'll forward this pitch deck as well. I'll also send a link to the website where you can simply... First of all, everyone who has already made their contribution still needs to register on this website. This is so that no information gets lost, and so our system can keep track of everything. Who, how much, when, and how many shares we need to issue. What I mean is, we'll only issue the shares in about a year, maybe even a little later, because right now we need to go through all the stages of financing. This is how it usually works in the crypto market. First, there's an initial stage. There's a seed round, a private round, and then a public round. After the public round, a token generation event takes place, meaning the token is issued. And since our token is a share in our company as well, so we'll issue it right around that time. But for everything to be official by the public round, right now the agreements we have are convertible notes, meaning it's a convertible loan. This means that in a year, you can get your money back plus 68% of what you invested today. It's an opportunity for a quick exit. And there's also the option to convert this investment today into company shares, meaning into tokens, which we will issue by that time. So today we sign a convertible loan agreement. It's simply a debt obligation with our operating company. And it specifies a 68% annual interest rate. That's a lot. So, for example, if you invest 100,000, you get at least 168,000 back after a year. But I'm looking for those who are ready to actually develop the project, because this is just the beginning. Why can we promise 68% annual returns? This is directly related to the investment rounds. In a year, we'll have a finished MVP, established traction, a valued company, a legal entity, and all the intellectual property. At that stage, we will stop selling our shares at a discount. So it turns out that investors in that round, when everything is ready, meaning institutional investors, venture funds, or other large investors, they will be buying tokens at a price 68% higher than the price at which we are selling today. So any investor today will be able to do a so-called buyback in a year. That is, they can say, Dima, I can't participate in this anymore. I need the money. In that case, we take those tokens back and sell them to a new investor a year later. So we buy them back at the same price and immediately sell them. And the person who sold them back to us gets a 68% profit. That's why I say, again, this is also backed by all our activities. All that's left is to find people to tell and show all this to. Let them compare us with other startups if they're interested in modern technologies. And if they choose us, there's an option for automatic investment, or we can just talk personally and come to an agreement. So I'll send it to everyone. The website, it also includes the contract. Those who have invested need to register on this website, but making a deposit is not required. You just need to register. We'll mark them later. I'll log into the system and open everything up for each person. And for new participants, please, the website has everything. It's all clear there. There's also a calculator for projected income and the estimated value of our token. I just said that in a year, we're ready to buy it back at plus 68%, but after that, the market will buy it back, and I can explain why after that, it will be worth even more than plus 68%. In other words, new investors in a year will buy these tokens from those who want to sell them for this very reason. So let's move forward. Let's make our lives better. Let's make each other's lives better. I'm doing all of this truly based on the profound and often unexplored forces of genuine love that I deeply feel. I truly and sincerely wish to be genuinely helpful to absolutely everyone I've ever had the privilege to meet. This project allows me to become that kind of person. And it truly does the very same for all of you. I can see that. People are thanking me here. Everyone has caught this fever. Thank you, guys. Let's start with that. Right now, we have a little video, and then we'll just chat. If you know someone I should meet, please introduce us. Maybe someone out there is looking for me or for us. The doors are open. All right, let's wrap up. Thank you all.